Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Sunny So Sovereign. I'm happy to be back. Today, we're going to go over Chapter 8 of Money Matters. If you guys haven't already, go check out my YouTube account where I got chapters 1 through 7 posted. Please like, share, subscribe. Also, if you guys haven't, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can find that in my YouTube account. So again, today we're going to be going over Chapter 8, Understanding the Process of Bitcoin Mining and its Role in the Blockchain, where we have about 6 key takeaways, which will be the mining process, the mining reward system, the mining difficulty and adjustments, the Merkle tree, which is a data structure used in Bitcoin and other blockchain systems to organize and verify transactions efficiently, the nuance and the proof of work, the hash rate, and the issuance rate. So we're going to learn about what really all these are in this chapter. Last chapter, just a brief overview of what we went over in Chapter 7. We went over private keys, UTXOs. We went over full nodes, hashing, public key cryptography, scripts, the role of the mempool, and then we got into a little bit about miners and how they confirm transactions. So hopefully you guys enjoy today's chapter. If you guys haven't already, go check out Chapter 6 and 7 of the Money Matters, and drop your score in the comment section. Let us know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into Chapter 8. Chapter 8. Building the Chain of Security, Understanding the Process of Bitcoin Mining and its Role in the Blockchain. Uncovering the Gems of the Blockchain. Meet the miners and the mining process. Miners act as the bookkeepers of the Bitcoin network. In centralized systems, accountants are compensated by companies to maintain the accuracy and integrity of financial records. Similarly, miners receive Bitcoin for verifying and adding transactions to the blockchain, contributing to the network security and stability. Mining entails using computational power and specialized hardware to add new blocks to the blockchain, ensuring its security, decentralization, and long-term viability. The blockchain serves as a ledger of past transactions, consisting of a string of interconnected blocks. This chain validates transactions across the network, distinguishing genuine Bitcoin transactions from attempts to double spend coins. Miners aggregate unconfirmed transactions into blocks and then search for the elusive valid block hash that secures the block's position in the blockchain. This hash, among billions of others, can only be unlocked by a specific key set by the network. Picture a giant haystack filled with millions of keys, each representing a unique block hash. The network designates a specific key to unlock a valuable prize. Miners sift through the haystack, testing each key in the lock, with only one miner ultimately discovering the correct match. The first miner to find the correct block hash broadcasts it to the network along with the block of transactions. Other miners verify the solution, ensuring its accuracy before adding the block to the blockchain, thereby establishing a secure and public ledger. Miners are rewarded for their efforts through block rewards and transaction fees. Block rewards consist of newly generated Bitcoin released into circulation with each block addition. Transaction fees, on the other hand, are small amounts paid by users to expedite transaction processing and prioritize their inclusion in mined blocks. Miners have the autonomy to select which transactions to include, often favoring those with higher transaction fees. The dynamic reward system of Bitcoin mining, block rewards, transaction fees, and halvings. Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, devised a clever solution for distributing new Bitcoin through a decentralized block reward system. The Bitcoin supply schedule outlines the creation and release of new Bitcoin into circulation, aiming to maintain the cryptocurrency scarcity over time. In Bitcoin's early days, miners received 50 Bitcoins as a reward for each block they successfully mined. This block reward serves as the financial incentive for miners to invest in powerful hardware and electricity for their mining operations. However, to regulate the supply of new Bitcoin and ensure network stability, the block reward is halved approximately every 210,000 blocks. This process, known as halving, decreases the amounts of new Bitcoin entering circulation, continuing to motivate miners to secure the network and uphold its decentralization. To illustrate, imagine you have a jar that can hold 1,000 pieces of candy. Each day you can add 10 pieces of candy to the jar. This mirrors the creation of new Bitcoin through mining, yet every 4 years the number of candy pieces you add is halved. Similarly, Bitcoin's halving slows down the rate at which new Bitcoin is created, with the ultimate goal of maintaining scarcity and limiting the total supply to 21 million units, akin to the limited capacity of the candy jar. This halving process resembles how gold mines eventually deplete and become harder to locate. Presently, the Bitcoin protocol releases around 3.125 new Bitcoin to miners roughly every 10 minutes when a block is mined. Circulating supply refers to the amount of Bitcoin currently in circulation and available for trading, excluding locked or lost coins. As more Bitcoin is mined, this figure and the percentage of the total supply mined will increase until reaching the 21 million total supply. The inflation rate measures the rate at which a cryptocurrency circulating supply increases over time, expressed as a percentage of all total supply. It's calculated as the difference between the circulating supply and the total max supply, which is 21 million, divided by the total max supply, then multiplied by 100. During each halving event, the block reward for miner decreases, lowering the issuance rate of new Bitcoin and reducing its inflation rate over time. This reduced supply, coupled with the rising demand, can drive up the price of Bitcoin, benefiting early adopters and incentivizing miners to continue securing the network. And remember, miners are still collecting transaction fees. The vital task of Bitcoin mining: securing the blockchain. What is a valid block hash in blockchain? A block hash serves as a unique identifier for each block in the blockchain, aiding in detecting attempts to alter past transactions. Blocks store transactions and form a chain, creating a transparent record of all transactions from the genesis block to the latest one. The block hash links each block to the previous one, facilitating viewing transaction history and ensuring data accuracy and security, much like how a fingerprint identifies an individual. While a block hash can verify the integrity of block data, it doesn't reveal all information within the block, which requires cryptographic keys for access. The block hash merely verifies that the block's data remains unaltered. The race to mine a block. Miners compete to discover the block hash, aligning with the target set by the network. The successful miner adds the block to the blockchain, validating its authenticity. Mining resembles a race where miners aim to reach the finish line quickly, with the difficulty target adjusting to accommodate increasing miner participation. Imagine the network's target is 1,000. Miners search for a block hash lower than 1,000, with the first miner to find such a hash adding a group of transactions to the blockchain and earning Bitcoin rewards. Difficulty level measures the challenge of finding a valid block hash meeting the network's target, adjusting periodically for consistent block addition rates. As difficulty rises, so does the complexity of finding a valid block hash. For instance, you see hash 1 and hash 2. Hash 1 has a difficulty level of 1, hash 2 has a difficulty level of 2. In this example, hash 2 has a higher difficulty level, requiring more leading zeros, indicating a more challenging target. Finding a valid block hash demands substantial computational effort. By finding one, miners demonstrate the work needed to add a new block, earning Bitcoin rewards. Proof of work validates transactions and adds blocks to the blockchain, safeguarding it against malicious control. The target aims for one block to be mined every 10 minutes, enhancing network security as the target becomes harder to attain. For instance, the target set by the network might be the following. Miners strive to find a hash with 8 leading zeros to add the block to the blockchain and receive Bitcoin compensation. The role of miners. Miners verify transactions and add new blocks by collecting unconfirmed transactions in their mempool, selecting some for inclusion in their candidate block, and searching for the block hash. Multiple miners may concurrently work on new blocks, with the first to discover a valid block hash announcing it to the network. Other miners verify the block's transaction, and if valid, the block is added to the blockchain, promoting consensus and preventing double spending. A candidate block is a collection of transactions under consideration for blockchain inclusion, but hasn't been added yet. Dissecting the block. A blockchain consists of blocks, akin to pages in a ledger, storing new transaction. Each block contains a header summarizing the data, a link to the previous block, a unique nuance, number used once, and other specifics. Miners are tasked with accurately completing header information when crafting candidate blocks. 1. Organization of transactions. Miners must organize transactions with their candidate blocks following a specific format, with only partial data included in the header. Transactions serve as the backbone of the Bitcoin network, efficiently and securely organized using Merkle trees. These trees condense vast amounts of data into a compact form, enhancing network security and efficiency. The Merkle tree hash, part of the header data, acts as a digital fingerprint for all block transactions. It enables efficient transaction verification without scrutinizing each one individually, crucial for network security and scalability. If any transaction data changes, the resulting code differs, facilitating the detection of malicious alterations and safeguarding transaction privacy and integrity. 2. A Coinbase transaction. A Coinbase transaction included in every block rewards successful miners and designates an address for receiving transaction fees. This transaction is also part of the Merkle tree, but differs from others as it generates new coins instead of having an input. Understanding block headers. A block header, akin to a book cover, summarizes a block content and key details. It includes the block hash, a unique code verifying block information consistency, version, software version used by the block creator, previous block hash, ensures block sequence integrity, the Merkle root hash, updates specific unspent transaction outputs or UTXOs, timestamp of block creation, bits, difficulty level of block creation, nuance, a unique number miners adjust to create a valid block hash. Miners search for the nuance that produces a hash value meeting the network's target, ensuring block validity. By attempting various nuance values, miners eventually find one, creating a valid block hash. Number 5. Nuance role. The nuance is a unique number added to the block header during mining. Miners modify the nuance to create different block hashes, aiming for a value meeting the network's target. The nuance is critical for verifying blocks and safeguarding network security, preventing manipulation. Bitcoin uses a 32-bit, 4-byte field as a nuance in the proof-of-work mining process. Miners repeatedly increment the nuance until finding a valid hash. In this example, we see this valid hash, difficulty level number 2. Miner adjusts the nuance value until discovering a hash matching the network's target, enabling block addition to the blockchain. By modifying the nuance, miners create distinct block hashes, seeking a value aligning with the target and ensuring network security. This highlights the nuance's importance in maintaining network integrity. Rehashing the hashes. How long does it take miners to discover a valid hash, and how quickly can they modify the nuance value during their calculation process? In the example below, it took a miner 1,619,820,810 iterations to find a hash value with the required number of zeros. The miner who succeeded in finding the right nuance value added the block to the blockchain, forming a secure and unalterable part of the chain. The hash rate. The hash rate is a measure of the computational power of the network and the speed at which miners can make nuance calculation to find the correct block hash. The more computational power a miner has, the faster they can make these calculations, giving them an advantage in the mining process. However, as the network hash rate increases, the difficulty of mining new Bitcoin also increases, making it more challenging for all miners to find the correct block hash. Just like Astley upgrade their equipment to run faster, Bitcoin miners invest in specialized computing hardware to increase their hash rate and mine blocks more efficiently. The more resources they invest in, the better their chances of reaching the finish line first. Hash rate and mining difficulty. Hash rate can be compared to the speed of a runner. The more powerful the miner's machine, the higher the hash rate, and the faster they can mine. However, just like in a race, having a high speed does not guarantee a win if the difficulty target has been adjusted to a higher level. Miners must constantly upgrade their equipment and improve their hash rate to stay ahead of the competition and have a chance of mining a block and winning the race. Mining process. The process of finding the correct hash value by changing the nuance is called mining. The block hash can be referred to as the proof of work. The process of finding the correct hash value by changing the nuance is called mining. The block hash can be referred to as proof of work. In summary, every 10 minutes or so, miners enter a race to find the valid block hash. They begin by taking all the data from their candidate block, which is summarized neatly in the block headers, double hashing it into a single hash and comparing the output to a target hash value set by the network. If the block hash produced is too high, the miner adjusts the nuance and tries again, repeating the process trillions of times per second until one lucky miner finally finds a hash that meets the network's target. No matter how little or how much mining hash power is applied, the average block is mined every 10 minutes. Difficulty adjustment. When the total hash rate decreases, the difficulty decreases to make it easier for miners to mine new Bitcoin. This helps to keep a steady rate at which new Bitcoin is mined. The difficulty adjustments are done by mining the previous 2016 blocks. If the average time to mine 2016 blocks is less than 14 days, the difficulty level is increased. If the average time to mine 2016 blocks is more than 14 days, the difficulty level is decreased. Issuance rate. The issuance rate refers to the rate at which new coins are being added to the circulating supply, often through mining. This rate can be impacted by various factors, including changes in the network hash rate, the numbers of blocks mined, and halving events, which reduce the number of coins that can be mined per block. The step-by-step process of mining a block. Mining a block in the Bitcoin network involves several steps. 1. New transactions. New transactions are broadcasted to the network and then verified by nodes. Transactions are collected from unconfirmed transactions in the mempool. Transactions with higher fees are prioritized. 2. Merkle tree. These transactions are then organized in a Merkle tree and included in a candidate block, along with the previous block hash, a timestamp, and a nuance. Miners compete to solve a mathematical puzzle based on the information in the block, including the transaction and a random number. 3. Mathematical puzzle. The puzzle involves finding a specific number, the block hash, that, when combined with the block data in a candidate block, results in a value that is less than a target number. The miner who first finds the correct hash broadcasts it to the network, and the other miners check the solution to verify that it is indeed correct. 4. Adding to the blockchain. If the solution is verified, the block is added to the blockchain. The miner who successfully mined the block is rewarded with newly minted Bitcoin from the Coinbase transaction and the transaction fees from the included transaction. 5. Immutable record. The new block becomes part of the immutable and transparent record of all transactions on the blockchain. The block hash and the information in it are used to update the blockchain, and the process starts again with the next block. In other words, miners use proof of work to adjust the nuance value until a hash is obtained that meets the specified difficulty adjustments. Summary of the transaction start to finish. A user wants to send Bitcoin to another user. They create a transaction with the details of the send, including the amount of Bitcoin being sent, the sender's address, and the receiver's address. The user then uses their private key to encrypt the transaction. This private key is like a secret code that only the user knows, and it is used to prove that the user is who they say they are. The encrypted transaction is broadcasted to a network of Bitcoin nodes. The nodes verify the transaction using the sender's public key, which is available on the blockchain. They check that the signature is valid and that the sender has enough Bitcoin to complete the transaction. The node then groups the verified transaction into a block. The block is then broadcasted to the network of Bitcoin miners. Miners use a complex mathematical algorithm to solve a puzzle, which is called mining. Once the puzzle is solved, it is added to the blockchain. Once the block is added to the blockchain, the transaction is considered complete and the receiver can access the Bitcoin using their own private key. In summary, the sender creates and encrypts the transaction with their private key. The nodes verify the transaction UTXO using the sender's public key, and the miners add the verified transaction to the blockchain. The receiver can then access the Bitcoin using their private key. Once a block is mined, all the transaction included in it is considered confirmed, and the UTXOs used as input in these transactions are considered spent and will not be used again. Don't trust, verify. In the world of cryptocurrency, the phrase "don't trust, verify" is a reminder to always verify transactions yourself rather than relying on others, such as a centralized authority or intermediary. The Bitcoin network is made up of a decentralized network of nodes, which allow users to verify transactions on their own. However, there are scenarios that can cause transactions to be reversed, such as double spending, orphan blocks, and reorganization. To increase the security of transactions, it is recommended to wait for 6 confirmations, or 6 blocks containing the specific transactions, before considering it final. The more confirmations a transaction has, the more secure it becomes, as the likelihood of it being reversed decreases. The number of confirmations may vary depending on the use case and desired level of security. Double spending. In a double spend attack, a malicious actor attempts to spend their same Bitcoin twice by manipulating the network to accept their second spending of the same Bitcoin as valid. If a miner or group of miners controlling more than 50% of the network hash power, known as a 51% attack, confirm a double spend transaction, it could be added to a block and considered valid, effectively reversing the original transaction. Orphaned blocks. When 2 miners find the same block at the same time, the network may temporarily accept both. When one of the blocks is later extended by additional blocks, the network will recognize this chain as the main chain, and the other block will become an orphan, no longer a part of the main chain. The transactions included in the orphan block are not lost and will be included in a later block if they remain valid. Reorganization. This could theoretically happen if a new block were added to the blockchain and it causes the existing chain to be replaced by a different one. If a transaction was included in a block that is no longer on the main chain, it would be considered invalid and the transaction would be reversed. So here we have a class exercise. Feel free to go through it if you have a few people with you. Assign people some roles. The 4 roles would be sender, receiver, node, and miners. And just test each other's knowledge as to what each role has to do to successfully have a successful Bitcoin transaction. This was chapter 8. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. The quiz for this chapter will be coming out soon. And yeah, get ready for chapter 9, where we just sum everything up, where we talked about for the last 8 chapters. If you guys made it to here, thank you. If you guys haven't already, again, go check me out on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Sunny So Sovereign. I'm out.